All right, guys, we're back on Latin Nation, and it's the Techie Show. And since it's the Techie Show, I figured we can do a video chat from our studios here in Los Angeles with our next guest. He's in New York, and he was way too busy to come to Los Angeles, and trust me, he's very busy. He's Andres Barreto. He started the web-based technology firms like GrooveShark, OnSwipe. So what's up, Andres? Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Pretty good. So I want to start off, you've been called the Latino Mark Zuckerberg, for starting all these successful web-based technology firms. What do you think about that, and what do you think that you've done to deserve that title?
Well, for one, I don't think it's an adequate comparison because the scale of the different projects are very, very different. But what I do like and I do appreciate is that now we have a different type of role model being presented in the media that goes beyond being the typical novela actor or the football player. Now we can show that there's Latinos out there doing things in business and in technology and innovation.
So you started your first internet-based company when you were 18. And from what I understand, you apply somewhat of a simple business philosophy to all the companies that you started, which is basically finding solutions to your own problems. So how have you, or to your own needs, so how have you applied that business philosophy to your companies?
Right, so I think everything that can make starting a business easier, you should go for. So the best thing that you can do is start with problems that you have because you understand yourself as a market better than anybody else. And then from there, extrapolate it out. So one of the first companies I created, being GrooveShark, it was hard for me to find music from where I was living, and being able to find any song anywhere in the world was super useful for us. So being able to solve that problem was a need that I was doing for myself.
Just for someone, I'm going to date myself. I remember Napster. I was old enough to start using Napster. What's the difference between GrooveShark and things like those file-sharing music websites that were targeted by the music industry and shut down?
I was also old enough to use Napster too, so it's not like we have that big of a difference. But no, basically this is taking music and making it available everywhere on the web, using the web as a platform. And the same way that I had a need to be able to listen to any song anywhere in the world, when I wanted to expand and take this to Latin America, the problem that I was facing is that there was no information there about Latin American entrepreneurship. So I created a solution for that, which was Pulso Social, and it's a blog that covers entrepreneurship and technology innovation in Latin America. And based off of that company, I found a need to make content look amazing on the iPad when the iPad came out. So out of that was the need to launch OnSwipe. And what we do at OnSwipe is we power content and advertising on the web for touch-enabled devices. So things like the iPhone, the iPad, Kindle Fire, Nexus 7, everything that is changing the way that people are consuming content on the web is what OnSwipe does. And what all these companies have in common is that they all started from a personal need that I had.
So going back to not so long ago, I know you studied political science in school, is that correct, in college?
Yeah, that's right. I did political science and not engineering or business like most people think.
Right, so at what point did you make the shift to a career in technology?
So I think it was actually backwards for me, where I was already in technology. When I first got to college in the first semester, I started getting into technology and building companies. So for me, college wasn't necessarily of studying a career in order to get a job, but it was more like studying for something I actually enjoyed for the sake of studying it. Business is something that I did, and technology is also something that I did. So for me, political science was a way to study something I actually enjoyed and also get the knowledge for me to be able to contribute back to like economic development in Latin America, which is something that I'm very passionate about.
Now, you've mentioned in stories that right now we're between two huge shifts when it comes to the way web-based technology and technology in general is affecting our everyday life. What do you mean by that? What two shifts are we in between?
Well, for one, we're having a lot more people go online, but that's always been growing. But what's happening now is for the way that these people are going online, and even the people that are online today, the way that they've consumed content for the last 30 years or so has been through a keyboard and mouse. But since 2010, when the iPad came out, and now we have even more devices coming out, all of the content consumption behaviors are changing. And that opens the road for a lot of opportunities and rethinking the way that a lot of the internet businesses work. And that's the opportunity that OnSwipe's going after.
Well, Andres, you got to make us a promise when you're in Los Angeles the next time, come to our studio so you can check it out, and maybe you can give us some tips on how to make it even more techy. Congratulations on all your success, and we'll be back with more on Latin Nation.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Take it easy. We'll be right back.